wanted to show you part 2 of our corn harvest. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my ears of corn. I've got some not very nice ones, not a bunch, just a few of them. And those I'm putting off to the side, and they're gonna go out for the chickens. So what I'm doing today is I'm taking my ears of corn that we harvested, and I put them in my sink with some cold water. And what I'm going to do is just try pulling off some of the hair. 1 second. Okay, that's about the better. Try to pull off some of the hair with my hands. And then I have a little toothbrush here, and I push it all up to the top of the ear with the small part of the ear of corn up on the top. And what that does is it takes a lot of the hair and pushes it up, and you can kind of grab it a little bit easier. Can't get it all. And then once I got off as much as I can, I push it off to the side. I do have more ears of corn in here to do, but I don't want to show you each and every one that I do. So, after I get a bunch of corn off to the side, I have a nice big pot here. And I have a nice knife. And what I do is I take the corn and I take the knife from the top and go down as close to the cob as I can get it. There's all kinds of fancy gadgets out there, but I think I do just as well with a knife. And it's quick. Just to let you know, there is no easy way of getting the hair off the cob. No matter what, you're always going to have some of it. So don't try picking out every little piece, because it's not going to work. And once I do about 3 or 4 ears of corn, then I wash it, because I don't want all the little shavings of cob in my jars of corn. So I'm just going to do 3 ears to show you for now. See, 3 ears doesn't take long at all. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pan and I'm going to put some nice cold water in it. And with my fingers, I'm going to try to loosen up some of those pieces of cob. Now your water is going to turn a little bit whitish color. Don't worry about it. That's some starch you're taking out. I promise you it's still going to taste great. So just move it around. You're trying to break up as much of the hair and cob that you can. And then I have a colander here, and without trying to get any of the corn in, and I do this process twice. And I'll show you what it will look like. The second one, I don't put as much water in it, because you don't really need to. You're just trying to get off any other little pieces that were lingering. And anything after that, I just leave it in. If some pieces do fall out, just go back. You can go back and get them. Then I usually just shake it down and look for like big pieces if I see like a big clump of it. That's it. Then over here on my stove, not that I'm cooking it, But I have a pot here, and as you can see, this pot is full, and I just put all my corn in here. When I go to pack my corn or canning it, I do raw pack. I do not cook it ahead of time. Okay, so I'm going to finish with this part, and I'll come back when it comes time for canning. See you shortly. Okie doke, so all my corn's been cleaned. It's all in this big dish. Bowl, excuse me. My jars have been sanitized, and I've got water on the stove that's boiling to put in with it. And the only other thing I need would be a little bit of salt. So what I'm going to do is, I know I have at least 7 jars because of that, and that's what fits in my canner. So I'm going to take 2 jars out at a time, and I'm going to put in about a half a teaspoon of salt. Put my top on, and I'm going to fill my jar with the corn. Now, corn can tend to expand, so you don't want to fill it all the way up to the top. When I do mine, I tend to go about right to there. Last year I did these in pint jars, and I've got so many pint jars. So I said, it's got to be done in quarts this year. Because I have no room. And then all I do, excuse me a second, is I take my water that's been boiling, and I pour it in. Oops, too much. Which makes no difference. I could just pour that out. I'm sorry, I have a bad shoulder, and now that one I'm going to have to make sure I do really good around the edges. And you pour it up until the very first line. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to show you on this one, is the very first jar rim, right there. And now let me do the other one. And I'm going to finish filling up my jars, because I don't want you to sit here and have to watch every single jar being filled. So I will be right back. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you want to debubble. So I just take my stick, and all you're doing is going around the edges, and you're getting up any bubbles or any areas on the bottom that didn't quite get juice to it. So you want those bubbles to get to the top. So that's all I do. I just stick it in and go all the way around it, getting all those bubbles up. Now this one feels very tight, so So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some corn out of that one. Which of course is going to make me put in some more water. Okay, it was very tight. I couldn't get the debubbler. And as you're debubbling, you want to make sure that your water level is still good the whole time. That's better. Okay, it looks like I could use a little bit more water in a couple of them. So I just go back and add just a little bit of water. There we go. Now the next thing is one of the most important things to do. And all you need is some white distilled vinegar. So get a paper towel and you want to wipe your jar rims. If you don't do that and you got a grain of salt or right here, a hair from a corn, they're not going to seal. You've just wasted your time. So you don't want to do that. So wipe around the seal really good, and I always do the edges too. The outside of the edges. And you're doing, like I said, you're doing this to make sure there's no like hair, salt, or anything on your jar rim. You want that jar rim to be really clean.
No debris.
You want no debris on it. Okay, now take your lids. I do not boil my lids first. It's just my preference. Then you're going to take your jar rims and you're going to put them on. I put on a couple at a time first. Then you go back and do okay? Just a nice quick, and then you put it in your canner. When you put it in your canner, you turn around and you let it vent for 10 minutes. You want to wait for the steam to be coming out of it and let that steam for 10 minutes. Then you put your jiggler on top. When your jiggler starts to jiggle, it's an hour and 25 minutes. For me, it's going to be an hour and 30 minutes because of my altitude. But for anybody that's under 1,000 feet, you only need to do an hour and 25 minutes for quarts or 55 minutes for pints. Okie doke, I'll be back when they're ready to come out. And here is my ending result. I got 7 beautiful jars of corn. That's what I canned so far. And here is 2 jars that I haven't canned yet. And I'm thinking I may dry it out for the chickens. I haven't decided yet. But only 7 jars fit in the canner, so that's what I did yesterday. Like I said, I'm deciding on these 2 jars. Well, again, thanks for visiting the Polettirosa Homestead. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Leave a comment. And please, if you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to join me on this journey. Have a great day.